guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those that are new, my name is Sandra. I am an interior designer here in the state of Illinois, and in today's video I am going to be rating my subscribers' resume. I had asked you guys to send over your resume if you wanted to be reviewed by me in this video, and a couple of you guys sent over your resume. I am going to give you some constructive criticism, some feedback to help you improve your resume and make it better. And I'm also going to be rating your resume on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first one that we have is Aysha. Aysha, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your names. I'm horrible at pronouncing names, so please forgive me. But yeah, okay, let's get started with your resume. From first glance, I love the format and style of your resume, and I love the colors that you pick. They're muted colors, but they're also like a little bit bold, but not like bold in the sense that it's distracting. I think that these colors work very well together, and they don't distract the eye from anything, that they don't blind my eye either. So these are my red lines. On the right hand side where there is software, I crossed out 2D and 3D modeling just because I don't think you have to note that these softwares are 2D or 3D modeling. I think people will know these types of softwares and they know what type of modeling or 2D or 3D that it is. So just to save you a little bit more space, that's why I crossed out 2D, 3D modeling, rendering, and editing. I think that people will understand the types of software that they have or that they are. So you know, you can remove it if you want, but if you don't want to, you know, you don't have to. But I feel like it, with or without it, it works. That was my only suggestion to kind of reduce the amount of words that there is. On the left-hand side, I did reword your About Me section just so it makes a little bit more sense. So I'm going to read what you initially had on there. Completed interior design course with 6th semester being 6th semester as internship of 4-month experience, aiming to develop my skills to successfully fill the interior design role. The thing is that I feel like you have semester on there twice, and it felt a little redundant. It just didn't make any sense to me. So just to kind of simplify the About Me section, I crossed out that first sentence completely because I don't think you need to note that you completed a semester or interior design course, because that will be noted in your education area. So I think that just by eliminating that first sentence, you can leave aiming to develop my skills to successfully fill the interior design role at, and this is where you will put the job that you are applying to. It could be at ABC Interiors or whatever it is. At the top, I crossed out address because that's not really your address. You can replace that with location. I wouldn't recommend putting your address on your resume just because like there's no need for them to know your address right away. They just need to know your city and state. But overall, I feel like you did really great on your resume, and to me it's beautiful, it's legible. I can, you know, distinguish what section is what. So I will give you a rating of 4.5. With these minor tweaks, I think you will be at a 5. Next up, we have Kristen. And I noticed that your resume is 2 pages long, which there's nothing wrong with it being 2 pages. And I know you have a lot of experience and a lot of details you wanted to include in your job description. I really love your format as well. And this goes to show that you guys don't need to add like any fancy color boxes or anything to make your resume look fantastic. Kristen did a really great job at pretty much simplifying a resume. To me, this is simple and clean. Beautiful. At the very top, you have your contact information, which is great. And where you have skills, I have a minor tweak to add and software, skills and software. That way people know that you are listing the type of skills that you have and softwares. I also crossed out your basic of understanding of Revit. You can leave Revit in there, but just eliminate basic understanding, because some people do kind of judge you based on how proficient you are in softwares, and you don't want to be not considered for the role or discriminated against because you put that. I know it sounds really silly, but there are people that do. So to increase your chances, I would say just cross that out, leave Revit on there, and when it comes to the interview, you can explain how you have like a good understanding of Revit, but if you get the proper training, you'll be able to get more advanced in that program. So I just say cross that out, leave Revit, and same with the familiarity with Adobe Suite. Just cross the familiar with and leave Adobe Suite. Again, you can always explain yourself during the interview. You don't have to rate on how proficient you are in these programs. I would say just put the program that you know, and then when it comes to the interview, again, you can explain yourself. So now let's get to the nitty-gritty of your job experience. I read through all the bullet points, and everything made complete sense as to why you would have it on there and showcase that. So my only minor tweak for the first one would be you can possibly eliminate the the fourth bullet point, and kind of combine that with the second bullet point. I'm just trying to find ways to simplify your job description, simplify your sentences, because less is more. Sometimes when you have a resume with a whole bunch of wording and lettering, it can feel very overwhelming and unattractive to somebody reading it. So not saying that yours feels overwhelming, because it certainly does it, but I was just trying to find ways to make it a little bit more simplified. So yeah, I felt like maybe on the second bullet point, where you have managed approximately 50 projects at a time, you can add ranging from 100 to 35,000 square foot. The reason why I eliminated the completed the fourth bullet point is because you don't have to put how satisfied the clients are. Again, I don't think you should rate yourself based on the softwares or how you are with clients. Everything else seemed really great. On the second job where you have sales associate, I tweaked this up a little bit more, because on the fourth bullet point, I felt like it was very similar to the third bullet point, and to, simplify things again, people will get the hint that you have experience with quotes and sales orders in the third bullet point. So that's why I don't think it was necessary for you to put that you have experience with input orders, back orders, follow up with customers, to prove that you do have customer experience. That's why I moved that up to the third one, so that it reads process quotes, sales orders, and followed up with customers. You can put via phone or email, or just leave it as follow up with customers. On the sixth bullet point, I crossed that one out completely, because I feel like people will know that you are team orientated on the first bullet point, because you have teamed up with designers, builders, and homeowners. People will get the sense of that team orientated on the first one. So that's why on the one that I crossed, it's not very important or necessary for you to put that on there. So that, yeah, just kind of simplify things a little bit more. So moving on to the second page on your furniture design specialist job, I crossed out the first one, and I crossed out I crossed out the fifth bullet point as well, because I felt like in your other bullet points you did mention that you have experience with floor plans and drafted floor plans, gathering information, but you do have presentation on there. So maybe you can you can just eliminate the first one and leave the other one. And on your last job, I eliminated the third bullet point just because to me it didn't feel like as important as the other ones. So just to kind of eliminate more wording or sentences to read, I felt like the other ones were perfect and, got the point across on what your experience was. So that is my feedback on your job experience. And for the education and certification, I felt like it should be organized a little bit differently. I felt as though your associates should be at the very top, and then following would be the certificate of specialization. If you notice the numbering on the side, that is what I feel the order it should be in. So after the certification, you can put that you completed the IDFX and then the IDPX, and then the prac. I understand you probably organized this based on dates, but to me, when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, where is her education experience? So, it could work either way. But I wish you the best of all luck on your prac exam this October. We're both taking tests this October, so I'm wishing both of us so much luck. And for those that are taking the NCIDQ this fall, whether it's one test or all three of them, let's all, manifest good things about this test. So my rating for you would be a 4.5. Just minor tweaks for you, but overall I loved your layout and the format of your resume and the simplicity. I love how simple and clean I think that's the thing. It's simple and clean to me, which is very attractive. Moving on to Navira. I see that you got this resume inspo from the interior design resume video that I made, so happy to see that you are using this type of format. So I made a couple of tweaks for your resume. Let's start with the profile. I did cross out skilled in AutoCAD, SketchUp, Adobe Photoshop, that last sentence, because I feel like that's relayed in your software section, so there's no need to say that you're skilled because it's already displayed in your resume, and it's just a redundant sentence to have on there. For your professional experience, there's a lot of bullet points that you have on here, which is not bad. I know you want to showcase everything that you did and be detailed about it, but again, sometimes less is more, so you should just kind of only display the most important job factors that you did. So if you notice on the interior design intern job, I did scratch out producing working drawing packages and mood board because you had already listed that in the second to last bullet point. So some of these seemed a little bit redundant, so that's why I just crossed it out to make things a little bit shorter. And I did do a little bit of English correcting on there because this is a job that was in the past. We gotta, speak and type in past tense. So on the first bullet point, I kind of crossed out the ing of meeting, so you can put met new and existing clients and determine their requirements. I did like how you put projects worked on. I thought that was really neat and clever for you to let people know what kind of projects you worked on if they're like really well known. So that was really clever. Moving on to the next one, which is freelance interior design services. So I'm assuming that this is freelance on your own. And if it is, there's no need to put it again based on the number of clients that you have, because I noticed that you have, this was a private client and you put their name. So I don't think you should put private client or their name. And then I just kind of reworded the job description a little bit more because again, some of the things felt a little bit redundant, and when it comes to job descriptions, you don't always have to write out full sentences or let people know exactly what you did. Job descriptions are meant to be kept short and simple. So this is the reason why I crossed out the third bullet point. They don't need to know about your process. They just need to know what you did and what is relevant to the job. So in the fourth bullet point, I crossed out the first section of the sentence. What you can rephrase that sentence is produced final plans, section views, elevations, renderings, and furniture selections for the client. That's all you need to keep it as. So because we have that already showcased, I crossed out the entire last section because there's no need to put it on again. It just takes up more space. And I also noticed that your resume is 2 pages long, so the second page literally only has a little bit of information, so I took that as an opportunity to make it 1 page. So on the second page where you have design intern, you can move that to the first page and replace that last section where I crossed out and put the design intern information on there. The other thing is I crossed out references. If you don't have any references, there's no need to put references available on request. If you don't have it, just don't put it. I don't think you should put it. And then the last thing is you have a volunteer job on there. I'm not too sure if this is relatable to interior design, but I crossed that out because, again, you want your resume to be relevant to the job that you are applying to. So if it's not relevant to interior design, I would say just cut it out. But yeah, overall, I would say just kind of, reread your resume, make sure that the bullet points make sense to you and to the person who's reading it. Kind of simplify the bullet points a little bit more. And after that, I think you should be good to go. So my rating for you would be, I'll give you a rating of 4 out of 5. I think that with these minor tweaks on the wording and everything, you should be good to go. For this next resume, I don't know the person's name. I forgot your name. They crossed it out. But I have quite a few red lines of feedback for you. I do want to let you know that when I first saw the resume, it didn't come across professional to me. Here's what you should keep in mind when you are revising your resume is take a look at the font size and style. I noticed that on the first and second page, the fonts are different sizes and style, and the spacing. I think that the spacing could be reduced, and that way you can fit everything in one page. We really want to keep our resume to one page, guys. If understandable if you have a lot of experience and things you want to showcase. So here is my feedback. I did reword your career objective. So let me read what you had on there. Seeking for an internship for training and experience so that I can gain some practical knowledge in the interior design industry and also can create and utilize my creativity knowledge in design. So I feel like you have the word and a lot. So I simplified it. So this is what I ultimately revised your sentence at. Seeking for an internship where I can gain practical knowledge in the interior design industry and utilize my creativity. When I was looking at your second page, I don't think that you have to make personability and skills a whole thing. I think that you can take that and put it on the first page. So where you have technical skills, on the side you can put professional skills, and then you can put the languages and anything else that you want to add on there. I crossed out personal details. I don't think employers need to know what your birthday is, your location and all that stuff. And the last thing is declaration. No one really puts that in interior design resume. It's not really necessary. So I probably understand that you want to showcase that the information that you put on your resume is correct, but there's no need to put that on there. And the portfolio link, you can move that to the first page. So once you kind of reduce the spacing, reword things a little bit more, you'll have much more room to put any other stuff. I give you a 2 out of 5, just because it does need quite a bit more work. Make sure that it looks really professional and double check spelling errors, double check your fonts and consistency. And then, yeah, so I hope that really helped you. Moving on to the next resume, Kierra. I have very minor tweaks for you, just like some suggestions. I really loved your layout and format resume. I see you're a creative director and graphic designer. That's really cool. Well, a couple things for you though. You have professional experience at the top and then experience at the bottom. I was a little bit confused as to why you would separate those experiences, but I think maybe were you trying to separate your graphic design experience and interior design experience? My suggestion would be to just move the experience and put them all together. I really think that it's really important to showcase that you have had some internships and some graphic design internship and the CETA assistant. I think that's why I circled those in yellow and said move up there. For the professional experience part, maybe you can add an arrow signifying, hey, move your eye here, this is what the job description is. Because at first glance I thought that those were two separate columns, like the job and the description. I thought those two separate things, but they go hand in hand. So maybe just kind of add an arrow signifying that they go together. And then my last thing would be maybe have the job description in small caps. Right now you have all caps, which I understand it's, keeping your resume consistent in all caps. Actually, no, you can leave it in all caps. I don't know why I said small caps, but sometimes small caps is easier to read on the eye. So yeah, basically that is my overall feedback for you, and my rating would be 4.7. Just minor tweaks, and to me this is still very clean and simple and legible and creative. Last but not least, we have Zoey. Zoey, from looking at your resume, love the format, love the style. It's really easy to read, and I love how at the top you have like these kind of like zig lines, and you took that as an opportunity to put your contact information, which is really clever. You have your phone number, your email. One thing I would say is do not put your address on there. Just cross out your street name and number and leave just put Carbondale, Illinois. So let's take a look at the red lines that I have for you. Starting with education, I underlined and questioned the anticipated May 2017. Did you forget to update that? Like maybe when you were creating this resume, you anticipated to graduate May 2017. So maybe I would cross out anticipated and just leave May 2017 if you already graduated and got your degree. I did cross out your GPA just because it's really great that you have it on there, and congrats to you, girl. You got a 4.0. That's amazing, and I know you want to showcase that, but it's not always, I don't think it's always important to have your GPA. Like, a lot of people don't care on what your GPA is. They care to see what your experience is, what you did. So you can leave it on there or you can take it out. That's up to you. When it comes to program experience, I did take out the proficient and accomplished. I think that you can just leave it as program experience and then list out the types of programs that you have dealt with. I see you have academic honors, which is amazing. You have your work experience. My question would be, do you have any recent experience? Because I know that the last one that you have is from summer 2016. So if you don't have any recent experience, have you done anything since 2016? If yes, I would put it on there. If not, totally okay. You can kind of explain your story in the interview. I did like how you had the job description off to the side, but you kind of formatted it a little bit differently than bullet points. I thought that was really neat and creative, so I love that. And you have like a little summary of what you did, which is again different. Like, you don't always have to put bullet points. You can put like a small summary of what you did during that job time. And then for the organizations, one thing to just kind of shorten things up and, you know, have less wording on there. My only kind of feedback would be to shorten it up, to have it shown as like the abbreviation, because a lot of interior designers know what ASID is and IIDA, so you can just kind of put like ASID/fall 2016 to present, so you don't necessarily have to write it all out. I haven't heard of PCI, so you could possibly maybe just leave it as that or whatever. I was just trying to think of ways to kind of shorten things up a little bit. But yeah, that is my feedback. I would rate you as 4.7 because I like the style of the format too. Well, that is it for this video. I want to thank all you guys who submitted the resumes and let me review them. You guys all did fantastic, and I hope that my feedback helped you when applying to jobs. You know, and this goes to show that there's so many different ways to create a resume, and I loved how each of these resumes that I reviewed were completely different from one another. They might have been a few similarities, but ultimately this kind of reflected you as a person and your creativity. I also know that you guys submitted your portfolio, and I'm going to be making that into a separate video because that just deserves its own separate video. So if you guys want to submit your portfolio and have it reviewed by me, I'll have my email linked down in the description below for you guys to send it over so I can showcase you in my next video. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and it helps my channel continue growing. And yeah, I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.